The reports come barely a month after more than 100 people were feared dead in a military airstrike in a village market between Borno and Niger State. I spoke to Dr. Olewale Ojewale from the Institute of Security Studies about this development, and I began by asking him what he makes of the military's denial of reports of civilian casualties.
Security report in terms of incident is supposed to come from law enforcement agencies if they are up to the task. And then if that becomes an issue of contestation, then we should turn towards perhaps the local community and investigative journalists that are probably within that area. I have said that to underscore the fact that sometimes we need to give them the benefit of doubt. The line is becoming blurring by the day in terms of who carries out attack and where attacks are being carried out, because almost everyone now bears military-grade weapons all over the places. But that also is not to excuse them in terms of if there are human rights infraction in terms of how strikes are being carried out. I can only expect, like normal citizens would, that within a reasonable time, government is forthcoming to actually set the record straight.
How easy or difficult is it to avoid civilians in airstrikes in contexts like this?
It's a very tough one because the war is a guerrilla warfare in which the enemy that you are fighting is also in the midst of the civilians that you are trying to protect. That is the reality of counterinsurgency operation in Nigeria, the entire Lake Chad Basin, at least for about 14 to 13 years now. And if anybody can recall the initial campaign that were led in Borno State, wherein ordinary civilians become caught up in crossfire in terms of the campaign, the military campaign that we saw in those places.
Should airstrikes be the preferred modus operandi in operations like this?
That is the only thing that gives the state an edge over these criminal elements in those places. And the reason is simple. Even though we've seen the incursion of these criminal elements even into the cyberspace in the recent time through their deployment of low-grade drones. But in terms of the resuscitation and the armament, that is what gives the state the superior firepower.
How effective would you say these airstrikes or this entire campaign is so far?
This is not an opportunity to castigate the military, because I think they are the ones who are keeping some of us they are the ones that have helped some of us to be able to close our eyes when we sleep. And the challenge is that successful military campaign hardly gets the media traction that those error strike actually gather in terms of how they become viral and become global discourse. I'm saying that to underscore the fact that they have consistently maintained serious campaign that has decimated some of those criminal cells, terrorist cells, bandit cells. And then when this error comes up, we can only advocate that the authority carry out proper investigation that is going to reinforce confidence and trust of the civilian in the institution, and then at the same time become a learning curve for them as well to be able to ensure that such errors are not repeated in the coming days.